Getting your desired apartment can be a lot of work and most times frustrating. If you're thinking of getting an apartment and you're thinking of the things you should do and the things you should not do, this video is for you. Now let's get right into this video. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking around, and if you're new, hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mojisola and I film about lifestyle, business and faith. That's just all. Please stick around, don't go. So in this video I'll be telling you 10 things to note before renting an apartment. Now the first thing on my list here is location. When you are getting an apartment, you have to consider the location of that place exactly, to where you're working, where you socialize, your church, your mosque, or whatever. You can't just see a very beautiful house in a particular place and it's very far to like where you practically live your life. When I say live your life, like your social stuff, your work. And okay, let me use example now for people in Nigeria. We understand this. Imagine I find a very like nice house, nice apartment in Ibadan, and the place is fine, the place is just perfect, but my work and everything is in Ondo State. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't, because my transport every day, which is not even possible for me to go every day to start with, but my transport each time will cost a lot, and at the end of the whole thing, I might be frustrated from moving from one place to another, and you know that location is a lot of things. And also when considering location, you have to consider the fact that the place, how motorable it is. Can people, like the roads, can your car or bike or whatever you have or want to take, can the road, is it okay, or is something that you will park in junction and trek to your house? So first thing you should consider before even thinking of, is the house fine, is the house this, is the fact that you should think of the location. Is the location making any sense? The second on my list is the environment, or should I say the community. I don't know, the reason I put this is because mostly in this video I'll be talking about my experiences. I'm not just coming here to just bring researches and just talk. I'm talking right from my own experience. So when you want to take an apartment or you want to buy a house, is a place flood prone? How is the place? How do they do things in that environment? You know, you don't just see a house and be like, oh, I love this apartment, it's so fine, it's this and that. You have to ask questions. When it rains, what happens? My mom will always tell me the best time to rent an apartment is when it's like during rainy season, when it's raining. So you can easily tell that, okay, this house is right in check, is right perfectly okay during rainy season, because most of us, we just go and rent house at the beginning of the year, like January, when there's no rain and dry season and all. And when it rains, you realize that your car your bike or whatever you have cannot reach your house. Even your house is flooded. Right now in Ogun State, I live in Ogun State, by the way, and whenever it rains, there are some houses that water will be there in the window level. I don't know, I can explain that. You know, a building and the window is like here, and you people have to swim before they enter the house, which is, to me, it's not making any sense. So when you want to rent an apartment, after thinking of the location, after saying, oh, this location is fine, is it Lekki, is in this, I'm not trying to shade anyone, but I'm just trying to say you have to consider that community or that environment. How is it exactly during rainy season, during dry season? Is it something that what's it called, the community has their rules, they have their regulation? Once it's a particular time, you can't enter the estate, or you know, all the things. You have to put it into consideration, whether or not that apartment is fine or it's not fine. Think very well. Let's go to number 3. The third on my list is power supply. You guys, what is the light situation of that community you want to live in? What is the light situation of that state? How frequent do they have lights? Don't just think, hey, I have generator, you will buy fuel. You will have to deal with the noise of generator, and most times some landlords or landlady or tenants are not okay with that. So everybody has to stick with their prepared, or stick with whatever NEPA is doing. So you have to think of the life situation of that community. Who wants to live in a house that the power supply is just rubbish? Nobody. So first of all, I said you should think of the location, the community, and also power supply is really a big deal. Power supply is a big deal. Of course, you will press your clothes, you will cook, and you will do basic things with it. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. The fourth on my list is water. You guys, water. Hey, let me share a story to you guys. I lived in a house for about 3 years, yeah, and it was like the third year before the landlord did water. Like, before I packed into the house, I specifically told him I need water in my apartment, and he said, "Oh, of course, he would." If he got the necessary stuff, and I packed in, thinking this man will do the water. Unfortunately, I lived there for 2 years without water. I was drawing well. I don't even know how I don't have muscles. I was drawing well, you guys, morning, afternoon, and night. So that house you are living in, open the tap, see that water is running, and when there is no light to pump or anything, but what is the alternative to fetch water, guys? For like a whole month, I will wake up in my house, pack my stuff, my bathing stuff, my clothes, everything I need to go out. I'll go to the next street, my friend's place, to have my bath. Does that make sense? The fact that my landlord did not even do water is not the point. The point is, even the well we are drawing is dried up. And even when the well is not dried up, there's nothing to fetch it. The fetcher, either the landlord is not around. See, I'm not here to tell you that story, but I don't pray for anybody to live in that kind of place. I don't pray or wish for anybody to have that experience, because how does it make sense to just call your friend, "Hello, I'm also coming," every morning? Imagine. So when your friend is not around, you can't have a bath to go out, because is it pure water I want to use to bath? How many pure water do I want to use to bath? How many bottled water? So you have to think of water before you enter. Don't say the house is fine, don't worry, we'll fix the water. He said he what? Landlords will lie, they will deceive you, my dearest. See, lights and water is like 5 and 6 for me. So I believe anyone that wants to stay in an apartment, whether the apartment is fine or whatever, you have to consider lights and you have to consider water. Water is necessary. You need it to survive.
So guys, in my last video, I said I'm going to do shout out for the first 2 people to comment, and Omoni Iboluwatife and Olawoyintai will be the first 2 people. Thank you so much for commenting and watching my video. If you also want me to do a shout out for you in my next video, be the first 2 to comment. Bye guys. Now let's move to the video.
The 5th one, you guys, the reason why I put it in number 5 is because I want you people to understand. Landlord/landlady. Landlord, landlady, hey, their case study, they themselves, their case study. When you want to rent an apartment, please, if your landlord or your landlady is living in that house, don't take that house. What did I say? Don't take that. Don't take the house. Please don't even look at me as if I'm being dramatic here. I'm just talking out of pain. If once you see that the landlord is living there, or the landlord puts someone to stay there and wants to take care of the house, it's a big fat lie. Don't. Once I get to the house and I see the landlord is living there, it's a no. It's a big no for me. When you see that landlord is living there, don't even stress yourself to rent the apartment. Don't, except you can keep up with their stress, you know. Opening your gate is 8 a.m, closing your gate is 8 p.m, you know, all that nonsense rules and regulations. But if your landlord is not living there, consider, because when landlord is living there, they'll be telling you don't have friends around, don't have visitors. This is the amount of people that can sleep in your apartment. I'm not even joking, you guys. I'm not joking. There was a time I had my friends over in the night and I went to fetch water in the morning, like draw well, imagine. And the man had the gall to tell me that, do I have friends over at my place? And I'm like, bro, excuse me. It was like, the reason is because, look, you guys listen, the reason is because the waste system is going to get filled up if the population of the people in the house is more than expected. I'm like, what? I don't understand. But there are some landlords like that, they won't allow you bring people over. Some will even take it too serious. You understand? Some will tell you not to play music. Some you can't do like maybe ceremony or birthday, like all this something in the house. The most annoying part of it is the guest policy and the coffee, because how will you tell me that you're opening your gates in the morning 8 a.m. and you're closing your gates in the evening 8 p.m. So what if I'm stuck in traffic? How? I will have to sleep in my friend's place or rent hotel. Or what if I have to leave for work early? I have to be at work by 8. I have to leave probably 7. I will have to wait and the landlord wakes up to open the gate. You see, all those things are... If you're living in Nigeria, you will understand what I'm saying, but that's why I put landlord as another point. Please consider, if they are living in the house, just cancel it.
I'm so sorry for the break, guys. In the next clips and the next video coming up, the color grading is a bit bad. I didn't observe until I finished filming. Please bear with me. Thank you.
Our number 6 is pet policy. When you want to rent an apartment or anything, you want to have your house, please ask the caretaker or the agent or the landlord, whoever is in charge, what is the pet policy of this house. Like the ones that you don't like animals and you start living in the house, your landlord has like 7 dogs, your tenant is rearing cats. This to rear cat, I don't even know. The cat is living with them, turkey, and you still saying that you are living in the farm. That's just what I would see, because it does not make sense to be living with something. Some people have allergies to these things. Like, it doesn't make sense. And the annoying part is that the people that have these pets will not just put them in their cage, their house or something, or their apartment. They leave them to just wander around in the house, and you are scared, you can't walk freely. Don't make that mistake of not asking the pet policy or animal policy or whatever it is. Ask them, please. So all people don't have dog, and if you like them, there's no problem. You're absolutely free. But for people like us that we can't deal with them, or people that have allergies, I don't think you like to stay in a house that you're too scared to come out or you're too scared to enter. It just doesn't make sense. 7 is car park and trash. I know you'll be thinking, what's inside car park, what's inside trash? Maybe when I finish, I just put my just ask, because what is the parking situation of that compound? I've heard stories that landlords don't allow their tenants to park inside the compound, saying it's just his own car. It's not like the place is not big enough to accommodate everyone, but the man is just, I don't know, I don't know the word. So you have to park outside, which is not safe because it's not inside your compound that you can monitor. So you have to park outside or look for a parking place to pay. Then all those shenanigans does not make any sense. So please, if you want to rent an apartment, another thing to ask is your parking situation. Don't say that, I don't have a car, I'm good to go. You will have a car one day. That's just the truth. Secondly, trash. You people, trash. Ask, where do we throw those bins? Where do we pack our trash to, please? Are we paying for it at the end of the month? You guys, I failed to ask all these things I'm sharing to you when I wanted to rent my apartment, just because I was blinded by the beauty of the apartment, if that makes sense. And my landlord started telling me, oh, don't worry, I'll bring people that will pack the trash. 1 month gone, 2 months, and the trash was smelling. And he now started saying we should burn our refuse ourselves. I don't understand. It's a long story. I don't think you want that situation or having back and forth with your landlord. So please ask about the parking situation and your trash situation. The 8th on my list here is emergency maintenance. How are emergency stuffs, how are they being fixed? How frequent are they being fixed? When you are signing these agreements, policy and whatever for the house, please read through. When the door spoil, when windows spoil, who is fixing it and how fast will they fix it? I lived in this same house and my door was bad, and we told the landlord and it was like, we'll be the one to fix it. So I'm like, we didn't spoil it. Probably someone played with it when we were away because we travel, come back, you understand? We did not do that. But the man was just blew up and okay, no problem. We were the one living in the house. For like a whole week, my friend and I that stay in that apartment, we don't lock our door. It's not safe for us. Imagine living in a house and you can't lock your door. Like, the safety, you are sleeping and you are not having peace of mind because you know your door is bad. And the landlord will say, if we fix it today, we fix it tomorrow. He said he's not fixing it, that we should be the one to fix it. Then we had to look for an alternative. Till I left the house, so we're using the alternative because how will I fix a door like 12K when I'm not the one that sports it? Right from time, I think the door has probably not, the bolt is not properly like tied. It's just something very simple the landlord could have done, but he chooses to be wicked and all those things. And it's not just that. Is it water? Is it pipe? You see your pipe leaking in the kitchen, you will tell them to come and fix it because you paid for what do they call it, maintenance. Yes, I remembered. I think the reason why we told the landlord to fix it was because we paid for maintenance. I paid extra money aside my rent for maintenance, and the landlord waking up the following morning to tell me I'm the one that I'm going to pay it. And I'm like, bro, did I not pay for maintenance? Extra money for that matter. So there are sometimes like probably your pipe has busted and your toilet, something is bad, and oh, come and fix this thing. They'll say, come, you'll fix it. 1 month, 2 months, and you start living like that, and it's not safe. It's not safe. So you guys ask for the emergency repair. How quick do they repair things when they get spoils? Also, who will fix it is the question, because window cannot spoil now. You'll be the one paying 25K to fix the blinds or something. Like, it doesn't make sense. So please ask all these questions. Take your time. So ask all these questions before renting an apartment in order for you not to be having unnecessary headache like I did when I was living outside. The 9th on my list here, guys, is fencing and gates. For someone like me, I don't like to stay in houses that don't have fence or gates, except there are situations that warrant for me to live in the apartment. But if I want to choose, please ask fence and gates, because the security and all insecurities in the country is very, very, very funny. That's the word to use, because I remember, was it NSAS, or I think it's NSAS. My house did not have gates, even the fence. I'm taller than the fence, and a lot of things were happening in the street. And for a whole week thereabout, my friend and I had to be lying flat on the floor to sleep because we don't feel safe. But imagine there was proper fence and gates. At least we have this a bit of security. Not like it's 100% certain that nothing will be wrong, but it shows that okay, these people are a bit safe. This house is separated. But if you're living in a house that doesn't have fence and gates, I really do not know. I don't know. Anybody can just enter your compound, come to your place, do a lot of things, and you can't even complain because you don't have fence and you don't have gates. But if it's something you don't mind, then there's no problem. It's a big something for me. So that was the reason why I added it to the list. Now let's go to our number 10, the final one. Security. I know it's a bit like related to the number 9 I said earlier. Security. Please, when renting an apartment, you guys ask, how is this community and this place is? Because of course you will hear stories when you ask them that okay, or maybe last month this happened. You know that okay, this community or this estate is prone to robbery or some other stuff, so you have to be very careful. But if you don't ask, how will you know? Security is really really important when taking an apartment. And I love all these estates that have like security, though it does not 100% guarantee that you're safe, fine, but at least it's better than none. All these estates that have security, some people will say vigilante, there's this thing they call them, you guys know it. At least it's a bit sure that okay, when you sleep at night, there are some people working to secure the environment rather than some places that there's nothing. So you guys take off security. Out of everything I said, security is the major one. Guys, this is the 10 things I have. 10 of my lists, important one. There are other ones, of course, that I think you have to think of before renting an apartment. If you want to be like me, that it's not just about the beauty of the house, but my safety, water, lights, environment, you can always change the house the way you want it later on. But if you just think of the beauty of the house and you do not what's it called, think of all these 10 things I said, you might end up with headache. Yes, I ended up leaving the house with headache, because today you complain about something, tomorrow you complain about another thing. And well, I hope people enjoyed the video. Don't forget, the first 2 people to comment on this video have a shout out in my next video. Please do well to share to people that you think they might need it, like this video, and of course subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.